What's up, y'all? Toya here, and I am back with another video for y'all. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys either like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alright, y'all, so today's topic is going to be a little bit different. I'm all about positivity, positive vibes, and everything here on this channel, but every now and then we kind of gotta take a step back and look at the reality of things. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do today. We're gonna discuss the truth about gig work that not a lot of people really talk about. So the first truth that I feel like not a lot of people talk about is the fact that not every order is going to be a good order. Now, as gig tubers, or let's just say content creators in general, you know, there is a level of clickbait that you do have to have on your videos. You know, a boring, bland looking video with a boring thumbnail, boring title isn't going to get clicks. So sometimes you gotta spruce it up a little bit, right? You want to attract the attention of folks to, you know, come in and watch your video, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's just the game that you have to play as a content creator, right? But the thing is about some gig tubers, you know, I feel like unfortunately they just put so much emphasis on like, hey, this is how much I made for the day. You know, you see some of the titles, you know, 200 plus for the day, 300 plus, 500 plus, almost 1,000 for the day, whatever it may be. And, you know, that's cool. Like I said, a level of clickbait, you know, that's perfectly fine. But that's really all they talk about. This is how much I made, this is how I made it, and that's it, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that per se, but I feel like they're not telling the whole story. You know, every order that you got, you didn't get it coming down an assembly line like boom, order here, boom, order there. Like, no, you had to go through a lot of crap orders before you got to that good one that you wanted to take. And here's the thing, you know, don't get me wrong, you know, people don't want to sit up here and watch you decline orders all video. Some people might mention it like, oh, you know, I had to go through a couple crap orders, I had to go ahead and do this, or this order popped up, and they might discuss it for a minute. But you know, for the most part, they're showing you the orders that they took and the ones that they're doing, right? And like I said, nothing wrong with that. But what's the saying that I've been hearing going around, like, is an untold truth considered a lie? Well, not telling the whole story, sometimes that can be considered misleading. Unfortunately, I feel like there are a lot of people on the outside, they're really, really gullible, and they see these big payouts and they see how much you can make in a day, and they're not putting their thinking caps on and actually really like doing their research and getting into it and understanding how all of this works. They just see, oh, I can make this much in a day. Bet, say less, I know what I'm about to do. And they unfortunately make irrational decisions about some of the content that they've seen. Now, is that the content creator's fault? No, they just put a video out there for you to go ahead and see, and what you do with that information is up to them. But at the same time, I feel like as content creators, we still do have a responsibility to be as transparent as humanly possible. You know, I show pretty much every single order that I take. I show you the big orders, I show you the small orders. I had somebody comment on one of my latest catering videos, and they were saying, you know, how they were happy that I show the small orders too. You know, every order that you show doesn't have to be, you know, $100 plus or anything like that. It's kind of like you're showing off almost. You know, ain't nothing wrong with taking those, you know, little orders, and, you know, those stack up over time, right? And especially for me as somebody who does not do gig work full time, I would love to get those big payouts that I can knock out within like 30 minutes or an hour. But the reality of it is, it doesn't happen all the time. And that's pretty much the point I'm trying to make, is that the reality of it is you're not going to have a big payday every single day. Some days are going to be slow, some days are going to be super busy. So that's just, like I said, being realistic and being transparent and showing like, hey, you know, not every single day is going to be 200, 300 plus. Just being open and transparent as possible. That's really all you need to do. Now, the next thing a lot of people don't talk about is the expenses. Now, the expenses of gas and putting gas back in your car, that's, you know, one thing. But the expenses of the wear and tear of your vehicle is another. The more that you use your car, means the more you're going to have to do maintenance. You'll have to get your tires replaced more, getting your brakes replaced, all of the standard items, right? But then every now and then you might run into a scenario where you have to put in a few $100s, or worst case scenario, a few $1,000s. So kind of piggybacking off of what I discussed earlier when it came to how much you made for the day. Say if you did make $300 for the day. That's cool, right? You technically didn't make $300. While, yes, you technically did, some of that money is going to have to be put to the side, not only for your expenses, but also for your taxes. Everybody loves taxes, right? This work is not taxed up front. You're going to have to pay taxes on this when it's all said and done. And I know there are some people that probably don't pay taxes. Don't be those people. Pay your taxes, okay? But these are all things that, like I said, it's just part of the game. Just the reality of it. I definitely feel like not enough people talk about this because, you know, you make $300 in a day, you didn't make $300. You might have made like 200 maybe, because the rest of that's gonna have to go back to Uncle Sam, and some of that is gonna have to go back into your tank or for repairs down the line. So be smart about your money. Don't just go and start spending it like crazy, like, oh, I made $300. I'm about to go to Fogo de Chao and just run it up, and just don't do that. Don't do that. Really quick, let me just interrupt my video really quick. I gotta go ahead and tell y'all something important. It is finally time. I know y'all have been asking me, when you dropping the merch? When's the merch coming out? Where's the link? Listen, it is finally time. I know a lot of y'all have been paying attention to some of the shirts that I've been rocking. And yes, these are all shirts that you can purchase on my store, including this one that I'm wearing now. So these shirts are going to be perfect for those who want to be their own boss. They want to strive for better, strive for success, and of course they want to hustle hard to get that bag, right? So the link to the store is in the description below. Keep an eye out. I will be dropping more designs over time. So just pop in from time to time, check to see if there's a new design. And yes, I know we're about to come into the winter months very soon. So I will have hoodies for sale as well. So just keep an eye out for those, and those will be added to the store in no time. So I appreciate your continued support, and I hope you guys enjoy the merch. Now that's enough talking. Let's go ahead and get back into this video. All right, next on this list we have oversaturation. And oversaturation is something that I have talked about in the past a few times actually, but I felt like I should touch on this a little bit. This will be more or less for those new folks who want to get into gig work and they didn't really realize that oversaturation was an issue. You know, us being in the game, we are fully aware of it. And there's been this argument that I feel like is going to last until the end of time. You know, people blaming content creators for the oversaturation. Yes, content creators do bring more attention to certain things, right? That's just with anything, right? If there's something to talk about, you're going to go ahead and talk about it. You're going to make a video about it, and then it's going to bring more attention to that particular subject. That's just basic maths, right? But the reason people want to get into gig work is because it is super easy to get into. So yes, when they see somebody talking about gig work, they might be like, oh yeah, you know what, I'll go ahead and sign up. Reasons of why people sign up for gig work, it can vary. My official time of when I started doing gig work was because I was short on money, because Illinois property taxes are a pain, and I needed to make some money so I can cover the difference of what I couldn't afford to pay. And that's honestly the primary reason why a lot of people get into gig work in the first place, is because they need extra money. So if they see a video about how to make easy extra money on the side, whether it's gig work or selling something, or they're providing some type of service or whatever it may be, they're probably going to try it all. They will try it all. But the reason why a lot of people do gravitate towards gig work a bit more is because of the low barrier to entry. So yeah, that's my little rebuttal to that argument. I feel like I said, we're always gonna get the blame regardless, but personally I feel like content creators, in regards to the gig space, you know, we've done more good than harm. But with me being a content creator, I'm biased, so you know, that's a topic for another day. Like I said, I covered it already. But regardless, oversaturation is going to be a thing, whether or not you want to blame the gig tubers, whether or not you want to blame the economy for being crap and people needing to make some extra money, or if you want to blame the migrants and immigrants flooding the apps. And yeah, so oversaturation is a problem. It is a huge problem. So with the majority of apps that you sign up for, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be put on a wait list, and you're going to have to wait to be lit on to that app. And even if you do get on, you still might run into that issue where you're not really getting orders. And if you are getting orders, they may not be quality orders. Kind of piggybacking off of the first point, not all orders are going to be good orders. You were on the wait list for, I don't know, Instacart, for instance, whatever, right? Because I've been on the wait list for Instacart for 2 years, not exaggerating. And yes, I've contacted support and they've reset my account and I'm still not on. So in case anybody tells me to reach out to support anything, but it's been 2 years for me. But let's just say you've been on the wait list for Instacart for a year, right? They finally let you on and you just see order after order after order after order. That's just like, why? $15 to shop for 50 items and I gotta drive 10 miles. I've seen similar screenshots from other folks. Or my favorite one, which I think I'm gonna do a video about this. You have those people who order like 10 cases of water and they live in an apartment building. Would you do an order like that for $20? And they order 10 cases of a 40 count of water and you had to take that up like 2 or 3 flights of stairs? Would you do that for $20? Honestly. You get frustrated because you're like, I've been waiting this whole time to get on this app and I can't even really get a decent order. It's just a waiting game of getting on the apps, and then when you do get on the apps, the app is still so oversaturated that the quality of the orders is still crap. Like I said, oversaturation is gonna happen. You know, it's just a matter of whether or not you're able to deal with it. You know, some markets are worse than others. There's a lot of factors, but oversaturation is definitely something that you're just gonna run into regardless. So, and it's just a matter of, you know, what tools you have access to and how you can deal with it. And last but not least, the last thing a lot of people do not talk about, the mental toll that gig work takes on you. So I did do a video about this like a while back, and I am so disappointed that not a lot of people saw this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it here so you guys can see it. It will be pinned at the top, and you know, it'll go ahead and put it in the description and all of that. So please, 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 please watch this video, because you know, mental health is definitely something that we don't talk about enough. We are bringing more attention to it, but it's still something that isn't discussed as much as I feel like it should. You know, being somebody who's a serious overthinker and is always anxious about what's going to happen next, you know, sometimes it's good to, you know, open up about your thoughts, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And, you know, it feels better than just keeping it in. Because the reality of it is, a lot of drivers, we're out here on the road solo. While yes, there are some couples who ride together, there's some friends that might ride together, you know, you just kind of sit there and you're just kind of thinking, you know, when you're waiting for that next order. Again, not all orders are going to be good. So while you're sitting there waiting for that good order to come up, you might be pondering, you might be thinking like, why am I out here in this parking lot? Why am I sitting in this car? What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? You know, what's going to be the next step? Just thinking about just random things, right? Or even just doubting yourself, because I feel like I've done this plenty of times. I think all of us have done this. Imagine there's an order that popped up and you thought about taking it, but you were hesitant and you let it go. And then you start regretting letting it go, because now you're not getting an order that was better than that order that you just turned down. So now you're regretting it. You're overthinking like, man, what, I should have just took that order, because now I'm going to sit here and now I'm not making no money. I could have at least made like $15, but I'm still sitting here waiting. And it's a lot of things that you think about. Honestly, everything that we touched on, these are things that you could potentially be just pondering on. You know, if you're going to be making enough money to pay for whatever expense, the oversaturation, you're not getting orders because the orders are being taken by who knows who, so you're not really getting anything quality to you. And of course, just even the first point, I mean, that kind of ties together with oversaturation. You're just not getting good orders. So you're just sitting there and you're thinking and you're thinking and you're thinking. And like I said, that takes a toll on you. It really does take a toll on you. Sitting there in your thoughts by yourself, that's a state to be in. That is a state to be in. Because like I said, as someone who's an overthinker like myself, I do a lot of replaying things back in my head, things that I could have done, things that I should have said. I do this a lot even when I'm doing my videos, right? I watch my videos back as I'm editing and I'm like, I could have did this, or I could have said that, or I could have, you know, like I said, I'm an overthinker. I'm an extreme overthinker. This is just the reality of it. This is the reality of gig work. You know, things go through your mind. You're thinking about just a lot. Like I said, I more or less just kind of wanted to touch on a few things that I feel like aren't discussed enough in the gig community. Not to say that these are all negatives per se, but again, like I said, it's just the reality of things. It's just being open, being honest, letting you know that not everything is going to be sunshine and rainbows, okay? It's just the reality of life. And just letting you know that it's okay to talk about these things. You know, if you're feeling frustrated because of this happening in your market, or this is happening and you feel like you're just having trouble overcoming whatever this obstacle may be, you know, it's okay to talk about it. Like I mentioned before, we see these flashy titles, you know, you see plus 200, plus 300. And, you know, that's great and all, seeing how much you can make in a single day. But behind the scenes, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There could be a lot. And like I said, we just need to be more open about it. We need to be more honest and just be more transparent. You know, if this is your first time seeing me, you know, this is kind of what I'm about on this channel. Sure, I'll go ahead and show those, you know, you can make $80 in 30 minutes or $80 in an hour or whatever it may be. But at the same time, I'll do my best to balance it. It's not all about just showing off how much money I can make. Look at how much I can make over here. You know, we have those tough conversations here too. Like I said, I just wanted to touch on a few things. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other things that, you know, a lot of people can probably think of like, hey, you know, this is also a negative about the gig scene that, you know, people don't talk about. And if there are other topics that you think that we should either cover, or if you just want to point out in general and discuss in the comments, you know, y'all know what to do. Just let me know in the comment section below. Well, that's pretty much all I got for this video. So before I let you guys go, I have to remind you to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay safe out there and keep grinding.